Okay. All right. So we can move this over here a little bit, and then minimize that. What is going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing good today. Hope you guys had a nice, solid, safe week. And today we're gonna be going right into these videos, man. So we're watching them together, right? Uh-oh. Lost my mic there for a second. So anyways, we're gonna go into these videos together. We're gonna watch them. I'm gonna stop and just interject if I feel like maybe I want to just explain something real quick to you. And also I want to talk a little bit about the giveaway. There's an upcoming giveaway, so if you guys want to win a zigzag, stay tuned to hear a little bit more on that. Then I also want to talk about a cool little article I found in the ISA archives, because I can't afford to have an ISA membership. Yeah, so not right now at least. But anyway, I'm looking into the archives and I found some, cool article back in August of last year. It's a long time ago. And then I also want to talk about some tree diseases, maybe some that are, they seem very common to me. They're common here in my region of the United States. We're in the southeastern region of the US, and I think this right here, two diseases, will kind of edify some of you if you don't already know about them. And if you do, please feel free to talk about them in the comment section. All right, so you know where it is, man. We're on number 3 already. Man, that's quick. All right, let's go. Maybe not quick enough. I know some of you guys, you guys don't.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Maybe that one there, because it's got an arm that kind of grows out that way. You see that arm out there? Might grab something all the way down. So we'll get rid of these. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't let this guy fool you here. You might take something with it. And then that should be good. Maybe even tie in a little higher. And then that way.
I feel terrible. I totally left my headphones in the other room. Let me go grab those real quick, all right? I will be right back. Old Faithful. It's my favorite headphones right here, man. Bought them back when I was in Korea. All right, so now let's go.
When we jump into that tree, we could jump in nice and high as we can. Set up a time point, come down real quick, limit down, or limit down all the way down. That's another way to do it, because from that one we pretty much just got to take care of that side and maybe this one here, and then so the adjacent side, the side that's to that oak, we need to take those branches off, because again, it'll just swipe some of those branches on the oak tree and it might rip them out. Seen it time and time again. Never fails, man. Branches, this world it's built around chaos, and chaos is a part of every system. Every system has chaos in it, and this is just something that is bound to happen. Okay, that's how I see it.
This is funny. All right, so I'll do this.
Yeah, that was Chaos 101 there for you guys.
Alright, so just improving my position while the guys clean up down there. I want to swamp them. So not swamping your guys down at the bottom does a few things for you, okay? It gains you the favor of your ground crew. All right, that's number one. All right, it shows that you care about them, that you're thinking about them. And when you're thinking about somebody in that way, in such a small way, it actually has a big effect. So it communicates to them that not only are you thinking about them, but they might interpret it as, oh, he's thinking about me because he cares about the longevity of my body. So the less of a bird's nest he makes down here for me, the easier it is for me to pull out, and therefore he cares about me in a deep way. So that's one way. Another thing is it just creates like a camaraderie between the two of you as a result of all that thinking, interpreting of the communication, you know, and they think about the meaning of it. Yeah, so it really does matter, man. Don't swamp your guys down at the bottom. Be kind to them. Good?
Yeah.
All right. Gonna let her rip now.
When you get those limbs down and just have the top, I'll give you a rope to tie it off so we can pull it.
All right, bro. I'm just gonna take off 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right.
Hate doing that, man. Nice.
God.
Clean that up. And we're done, man. So if you guys want to watch the rest of the video, the rest of it will be posted this Sunday. And probably just going to post it like at 12 a.m. Something like that. Put it on the schedule. So yeah, let's move on from the video. So oh yeah, look, check this out. This is some of my work that I was working on earlier, figuring out production levels in like thousands of millions. It's pretty insane, like the numbers we're working with. It's pretty cool. So let's go over here. I had some really cool articles right here. Okay, so this article really grabbed my attention because it kind of spoke about like what happens when you put production before safety, or maybe for some people, like I've worked with people that'd be like, oh yeah, we need to produce, we need to keep our man hours up and blah blah, this and that, and then they talk about safety. So it's like production first, and when production is first, you basically throw everything out of the window. So if you want, you could just pause it here and you could read through this article. I found it pretty interesting. It's a quick read here. And so basically, I'm going to point you guys' attention right over here. Right here. So the professionals in this industry want to produce for their companies, right? We want to produce, right? Because we feel a need to feel an accomplishment. So that's what you call like an intrinsic factor of motivation. So if you want to motivate your guys for real, like you want them to be genuinely motivated, you got to try to figure out a way so that they can get personal satisfaction out of whatever it is they're doing. So like for me, when I'm climbing in the tree, or when I'm roping for somebody, or just like partaking in the brotherhood and in the camaraderie that we set up in our team, in our group, that for me gives me like extreme amounts of personal satisfaction, and it makes me want to be the best version of myself. So when I'm on the ground crew, looking out for my guys, making sure that if I see like if I can get like a good catch, then I'm always looking out for them. So if there's like a dead branch up in a tree, like, oh, you're climbing today, all right, so I'm looking up in the canopy. I'm like, hey bro, before you load that branch, just beware that you're over you got some deflection on a dead branch or something like that, you know what I mean? Or on a sucker that will break and will cause you to go for a swing. You might not get hurt over it, but you might jam a finger or whatever, right? So it's that's what would cause what the effects are of that, just that intrinsic motivation, that motivation that comes from personal satisfaction, right? Nothing external to it, right? And so yeah, then right here it goes on to say, so they need to feel the accomplishment of a successful day. An external push for production has no place and will only lead to incidents. Stay safe and stay busy. Do quality job, and production will follow. So staying safe is the first thing. I remember I had a conversation with this one guy on a job. I was working out at Davie. My dude's telling me like, nah, man, like production here is, this is what I do. I want to produce. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's produce. But let's not worry about production. Let's worry about being safe. Let's worry about making good decisions in the tree. Whenever we're cutting, let's make sure we put our lanyards on, that we avoid overusing one-handed cuts. I mean, I'm one of those guys, man. Bad habits die hard, right? But there are several instances when a two-handed cut is more than a viable possible. It's just I usually lean toward using my two hands, or at least thinking about it. Sometimes it doesn't exactly pan out that way for me. But yeah, this was just like one of those things that kind of got me thinking, like, I remember that conversation I had with this dude, and he was just all about production. And I'm like, nah, man, let's be safe. Let's not think about production. Production will come. Let's try to do the right thing first. And in the end, it creates a deeper bond between everybody, because for some people might see like, oh, you're trying to like produce, so like you're kissing you're kissing up. And so it's not really about that. I mean, production is production, and at the end of the day, like, we need to come home with all our fingers, but at the same time, like, we can't be causing losses to the company we work for, the company where we come to, and because of them, we're able to provide for our families and all that stuff, right? And we're able to partake in some of the gains. So anyway, just thought that was pretty interesting, man. I really hope you guys like that. I also found something else really cool. So it started getting a little mathy. So for those of you guys that are like sensitive to the math, I apologize, but like stick with it here a little bit. That talks about hybridization and the effects of it on long term, I guess. Okay, here it is. So it was talking about the root plate. And so the root plate is calculated by this right here. This would be a generalized root plate diameter and size in non-constraining soil conditions. So this is assuming like perfect factors, like whenever something is falling from 100 feet in the air, it encounters no wind resistance, that kind of thing. We're assuming perfect conditions, right? So no soil compaction, no contaminants, that it's got plenty nutrients. It's the right soil for the right tree. Basically everything, all the stars are aligned. So anyway, let's move forward. You calculate it by the diameter of breast height in inches times 0.9. I don't know where the 0.9 comes from. Okay. I tried to look for where in this article they come up with 0.9, but I guess we can find it in Coder 2018, and we can go to the appendix and look up Coder's article, and I guess they've done research to come up with a 0.9 multiplier. Okay. And that will yield a root plate diameter. So anyway, what was like really interesting about it was, so here, let's just go through this real quick. So we're talking about this right here being the root plate. So the root plate and the and the stem's diameter have a lot to do with the stability of the tree. And as long as we can maintain strong roots in a tree, or we know that there are strong roots in a tree, we can also infer that, it's a safe tree to climb. That's why we always begin our tree inspection before we climb it at the base, right? In the roots, root collar, all this and that, right? We start from the bottom. And and I just thought it was like really interesting. They start talking about how the wind affects it, and how on the windward side we're creating tension here and we're creating compression here, because what ends up happening is that this tree right, what ends up happening, oh sorry, turn off my light there. So this tree, the wind is pushing this way, right? And so the wind is pushing that way. What happens is we get a force that's pulling on the stem that way. And so then this root plate here begins to pull, right? It's under tension on this side. This is called tension, right? And then this side is being compressed, compression. The force ends up meeting here on the other end of that root plate and all of its other its roots, its water roots, nutrient, those smaller roots that are going out to get water and nutrients. And so it just kind of highlights how important root structure is, and how important it is to maintain it. And I just thought it was really cool, man. I was just like reading through this here, and I was like looking at this. So what this graph here depicts is that after a certain amount of over time, over the tree's age, relative failure resistance begins to increase, because the stem begins to outgrow the root plate diameter. You see that? So the tree just almost like becomes too big to sustain itself, to hold itself up. It just gets too doggone big, and so that's what's going to cause the failure. And so that's just a really cool graphical way to just kind of illustrate how root plates and stem diameters are related between failure and over time the tree's age, right? How they're both related. Yeah, so it's a few different things here that are being related, but it's just really interesting. And so here's what I was kind of drawing earlier. So here's the wind, and here's the hinge, the bend point, right? This is the edge of, this is the edge oh no, I did it again. That's not what I was trying to do, man. All right, here we go. So this right here, the zone of rapid taper, ZRT, that's what it's called, depicts the edge of that root plate, and it shows you where all the force is being directed when the wind is pushing on this tree in whatever direction, right? And it's just really cool to see this. Another cool thing I saw is like, these are like some of the general forms that roots can take that will be, I'm not really sure. I was trying to see if, I think they're saying like these shapes here within the root system are gonna create like a stronger base, stronger rooted tree overall. So these are the kind of the shapes that you're gonna expect to see. And yeah, I think I've seen a variety of these kind of shapes. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. This is some cool stuff here. All right, so enough of that. Okay, here's another cool thing. It's also reading. So Mark Chisholm here was writing about planning your cuts, and basically one of the first things you want to do is make sure that you cut with intention, so that we're not just like putting our saw down on a limb and, you know, we're, oh yeah, you know what, I hope it goes this way. No, it's like it's going this way. Let's make the cut that way. Let's prepare for that. And so then if we think about it that way, we can be more successful and avoid injuries and just loss overall. Anyway, so there were some cut variations here. He was talking about a wall cut and a shelf cut. I know what a shelf cut is. This kind of looks like one right there, but the wall cut, this kind of resembles it as well, but the wall cut is like where you do a very steep angled cut and against a structure that you don't want to be damaged, like maybe even a wire. Who cares if you damage a wire? You don't want to touch that thing, period. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And so let's play a little trivia, guys. I don't got nothing to give you, so just let's do it real quick here. It was right here, guys. Just stick with me here. Trying to find a trivia. Where's it at? Can you name that tree? Oh, right here. Plant ID. Can you name this tree? You know what? At first, it looked like persimmon to me, only because I've been around persimmon for the past year and a half here in North Carolina. But you'll be surprised. I mean, you got 10 seconds. Just put it down in the comments or whatever, and let me know what you thought it was and if you were surprised to see what it was later. It is Quercus marylandica, so the blackjack oak. Isn't that crazy? That is the blackjack oak though. In Jersey, we had tons of blackjack oak. They got that really cool looking leaf. Real interesting. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so let's move on. So I kind of just wanted to bring up what a hypoxylon canker looks like. This is what hypoxylon canker looks like right here. Just take a look at this picture. That looks like it's just that tree's been killed by it like a long time ago. This one's looking pretty bad here. That's looking pretty bad there. I mean, we shouldn't climb trees that have hypoxylon canker. They become very weakened by it. Hypoxylon canker is also not a type of fungus that will infect a healthy tree. It usually takes advantage of weakened trees. So like in times of drought, for instance, another way that it can take over a tree is like whenever it's stressed. So just in terms of stress, like across the board, there's going to be a culmination of factors that lead up to the infection of the tree when it actually takes place, right? But hypoxylon canker also isn't the only thing that will kill the tree. It won't kill the tree alone. But yeah, you'll start to see these cracks and then this seeping right here, like that kind of stuff. And let's see if we get some more pictures of it. And it's just like, it's something that we as arborists should just be like very much aware of, just in tune, like what is hypoxylon canker? For me, I feel like it's one of the most prevalent things. And in this article, they're saying that hypoxylon canker, like you can remove a tree that has hypoxylon canker, like completely remove everything, every single thing, sweep up every single last piece of dust. But the prevalence of hypoxylon canker within any given area it's just so great. It's almost impossible. Okay, let me just scroll up here. All right, so you guys can read this. You guys pause it and read it. But it's basically impossible to get rid of hypoxylon canker. It's just extremely prevalent in any given area, and you can't get rid of it. There's no known cures. The only way you can combat hypoxylon canker is by preventative treatment. So like making sure that like in times of drought, the tree is watered. It can also enter the tree whenever it's stressed out. So like for instance, maybe a truck accidentally rubs up against a tree and like scrapes off a ton of bark, exposing the cambium or that sapwood layer. And so then that would be a great opportunity for this hypoxylon canker to get a hold of that tree. And so it usually happens under stress. But yeah, guys, just be careful whenever you're using machines. Like just be careful with the other trees, and whenever you're rigging also. So like in the video you saw me earlier, I did break a branch on that beautiful cherry tree. To some people it's insignificant, but for me, I mean, I felt bad when that happened, and I'll definitely take care to avoid that. I usually avoid breaking anything underneath me, and I do it because I know the importance of a tree survival. Maybe that's what it is, man. Maybe I care too much. Let's move on, man. Ganoderma. So it's a wound decaying infection that occurs through tree wounds. So this kind of a fungus will spread through the air. Okay. I didn't read too much into Ganoderma, but just trying to put it out there for you guys to kind of like be aware and just thinking about it, because Ganoderma is just another one of those one of those diseases that latches onto a tree, and then from there it's just like downward spiral. You don't want to climb these trees. These are not the trees to climb. There's plenty of other trees to climb, and you always have the right to refuse to climb a tree. Always. Even if it doesn't have any of these diseases, maybe you just feel like it's outside of the scope of your experience, outside of the scope of your capability in terms of of experience, just overall. Maybe you just have a bad feeling of this about, you know, who you're working with. Maybe you have some reservations about the guys might be incapable of assisting you while you're aloft. And so then that becomes very problematic. So you can always refuse to climb a tree, but especially whenever it comes to hypoxia and canker trees, get a lift, get a crane, get a bucket truck, or don't do it at all. Yeah. So what else can we do? You guys want to look at some cool videos? Maybe some that I haven't posted. I have a hard drive hooked up right now to the computer. It's one that has tons of content that I just never posted. Let me see here. Just gonna log into the live stream here. And oh, hey, what's up, guys? I haven't been checking the all right, so I'm checking out the what is going on with my camera, man? Has my camera been jacked up this whole time? What is going on with this camera? Okay. Oh, this camera's not too bad. So I got my Sony camera hooked up right now, and that's usually the one I use here. But here we go. Make that nice and small. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, yeah, that Sony camera's jacking up, man, messing me up. Let's go ahead and let's look at some of these older videos. How's that? Yeah, and then I'm gonna log off after this. Okay, here it is. Big drive here. What happened here? Did you guys ever see this camera? This video? Let's see. Oh, you guys gotta watch this. This is
Alright, so I have a top tree
on next level of savagery here. Alright, so you heard that, right? So it's a top tree. Alright, so let me just point out a few things here. So right here in this area where you see that literal bird's nest, okay, so or a squirrel's nest, whatever it is, right here in this area is where the tree was previously topped. To the right, you'll see a pretty sizable leader there, and that looks like it looks like the part that was towards the house was cut off, and then the side that was going over towards the neighbor, well, they just didn't care about that side, so they left it, right? And so now you got all these other shoots growing up, right? So if you can follow my mouse here, you got all this new growth that was allowed to, I guess, mature. Really just terrible. Like you never do this, right? But anyway, let's go over here. So basically what happens when you top a tree, right? So the tree looks like this, it looks like that, and then you get this suction cup effect, right? The suction cup effect. These branches start growing and blah, 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 right? And that's what ends up happening. It's a suction cup. It literally sticks on to the tree like a suction cup. And that this type of branch attachment here is absolutely a no-go. It is not good, because what ends up happening is they end up breaking out. They're just super just hazardous, extremely hazardous. And so I was feeling froggy this day, and I took the challenge. Okay, so you'll see what I end up doing here. Let's go.
I didn't top it, but somebody did, and so I don't really have much of a place to hang on.
So we got to create redundant tying point here. So I'm going to create a redundant tying point with the
up higher
snake anchor there. That thing ended up ripping on me on a rigging experiment. Bad idea. Bad. Horrible. It was so bad, man. Hated myself for that.
There we go.
It's my favorite piece of equipment there.
Okie doke.
All right. So I don't know why. Yeah, I guess. There you go. There we go. So that's what I was talking about earlier, the redundant tying point there.
There we go. We got a equalized anchor point.
Equalized,
So
that's relative. I don't know.
We can start working.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right. What in the world am I doing? Okay, good. Good. Yeah. Let's wear out the, so I guess the idea there with the ring was to wear out the ring and not the carabiner. So it's just a really good little thing to have there, if you're able to have it. Or if you don't use it.
Yeah, the reason why I'm doing this is basically to just give me a little bit of security, because we have a top lead over here, and it's kind of dangerous to work with.
Kinda.
Not really something you want to trust.
Yeah. Just a lot of understating here. Yeah, so let's move forward in this video. So I end up getting the way that I set up my rigging. That's what I would like you guys to see. Because the way that the rigging was set up was just like, it was very, like, just solid, man. It was solid. And really happy that I was able to pull it off. All right, let's go over here. Okay, so I'm finally tied in. All right, so there goes the pulley. I use this right here, this initial point, so that it will take a larger part of the load there. And also, if anything else were to fail, then I have a point, a point that the load can still catch and come down safely. You know what I'm saying? So this will be the strongest point in the rigging system, and just trying to use what I have, man. And using pulleys here is just a really good idea as well. Just trying to reduce the overall friction in the canopy, and Yeah, because friction rings, they take a lot of friction, and yeah, they probably wouldn't be the best thing to use here. And so look at how I rig this up. It's just insane what I end up doing here. Yeah, this is young Captain Hook tree climber here, man.
No tengo,
18, 19
no hay otro lugar más alto para ponerlo aquí, ¿me entiendes? Entonces, de la otra manera es dejarlo todo por allá, pero no. Sí, por acá.
So I'm just explaining to them that they're asking me like, why am I putting it there? Like that, you know, like that, isn't that too small? Like, they're not wrong, man. That's actually a really small branch, but the way I end up rigging it is awesome. It's just really good. So there it is. And this video, the full video of this one, the edited and everything, is on my channel, so if you guys want to check it out. I don't remember what it's called. It's something under Zigzag tree climbing. So they're trying to get like a timber hitch, club hitch looking thing there. Yeah. Or a half hitch, finishing it off with a timber hitch.
Esta está bien.
And that's Manuel down there. It's my buddy, man.
Está bien, está bien. Está bien, está bien, está bien. Sí, sí.
Manuel, he's the funniest dude, man. Like, I was always rolling, hanging out with this dude. Always laughing. Good guy, man. Miss working with this dude. So yeah, this actually needs to be fixed because it needs to be supported through here. So I didn't create the compression in the canopy yet. This actually puts that branch in tension and not in compression. It should be in compression, but I didn't make it that way. You guys will see.
Ahí jálalo todo, por favor.
And so let's just let's move forward here. Cool. Alright, so that one. Just trying to get the camera ready, I guess, on that. Oh yeah, you see? Alright, so now, I put into compression. But before,
compressing, now it's coming in instead of hanging low every time.
You see that? So what ends up happening here with those two branches, right? So let's just make a quick picture here. This is some good stuff here. So we have a big branch here, another small one here, and another one out here. Okay, and so I'm also partly tied into this one. So then let's see, initially I tied my pulley onto this one right here, right? And so then this came up and up to this pulley here. But what ends up happening here is that the load is all on the back side of this branch. So what happens is it's in tension. It's net tension. It's called net tension, right? Because the tension forces are so high that they could even overpower the compression, which is compression over here, right? So all this load on the back side is pushing down on this branch, and it'll cause it to break somewhere in here, right? And yeah, we don't want that to happen. So the way that I fix it is by adding a second pulley, or actually it was a carabiner, and what happened was I put it through here and through here, and so what ends up happening is that the rope now pulls the branches together. It compresses them in this sense. You see, this is compression. Now this side is on tension, this side is on tension, right? But it's compressing into itself. So the tree is stronger when you compress it, right? Another way to create compression in a tree is by getting the load to come straight down through the stem, and that is usually done by something called a vector, right? So like we're pulling in this direction, so we have this right here, these forces here working, and our vector is this way. You see that it splits that force, that these directions here, into sort of very simplified version of what a vector is. But yeah, anyway, we're using some of these mechanics, some of these things that we know to make the tree safer for us. And so then that's what's happening in this video. I posted it a few years back, and hope some people will go back and watch it.
Equalized it.
It's pretty insane how that branch was like just taking
pulleys.
the load there. It's
So
just really good. That was a big branch, man. Look at
that. Now we have
Huge.
a safer anchor point for that lowering rope. Yep. Yeah, it works good, man. It came out a lot better than I thought. So I just my rope back from my guys here, and
yeah. And so then that tree was all kinds of sprawled out. It was pretty insane. But yeah, guys. Till next time. Thank you so much for tagging along on this. Watch it with me. Live streams that I'm doing here, and I really appreciate you guys just being here, supporting the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. We are going to be doing a zigzag giveaway next year, so make sure that you are you're tagging along. Make sure you comment, okay? Because next time it's just going to be very random, and if you're commenting, you're most likely gonna get it. So just saying, man, it's a brand new zigzag. So let's go ahead and let's get it done, man. 10,000 subscribers. Once we hit them 10,000 subscribers, that zigzag is going out to somebody. So thank you so much again for tuning in tonight. Till next time, y'all. Thank you so much for bearing with me in my wild rants. Peace.